All right, what is up? Happy Monday. Um, I can't keep track of the days of the week anymore, so thank you guys for keeping me in track with that because these calls are kind of what my schedule is based on now. But I hope everyone had a good weekend. How is everyone doing with broker calls or outreach? Any wins, any hurdles in the last week?
All right, so I'll raise my hand first since nobody else is raising their hand.
Go for
But
it.
we want you guys to raise your hand. We want you guys to engage because that's what makes this interesting. But uh, a win that I'll share with you guys is last Wednesday. I scheduled a call with a woman who was on last week, and I thought we'd have a few people on there, but she's the only one that showed up, and we didn't end up making any broker calls. And that's because we spent about an hour just kind of talking about life and connecting. It was a fantastic call. She is actually a dentist. She's a dental surgeon, and she's looking to invest in real estate. So, guys, these are the people that we're attracting to this community, right? This is a woman you guys want to know. She's your partner. She's the person who's going to help you get that deal across the finish line when you get that deal done, right? She doesn't know how to underwrite a deal yet, but she's here and she's going to learn. She doesn't know how to reach out to brokers yet, but she has the script and now she's ready to go. And we're going to get together again at 11 o'clock on Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern time. So you guys do the math based on where you live. And if you want to be on that call, then reach out to me and we'll send you the link and we'll get you on that call. And I understand it's during the day and people have W-2s. I have a W-2. I get it. But if you can join us, let's do it. If you can't and you need the support, I'm here. I'm ready to help you. You reach out to me. I can't reach out to everyone, but you reach out to me and let's figure it out. Tell me what does work for you. What time do you need somebody to come alongside you and help you out? For some of you guys on the West Coast, you might still be making calls at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. That's 7 o'clock my time. We can make that happen. Right? At 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern time doesn't work for you. I get it. That's 8 o'clock in the morning for you guys on the West Coast. Let's figure out something that does work. But the whole goal here, the whole goal of this call is not to get Peter calling brokers. It's not to get Ed calling brokers. It's not to get Jerry calling brokers. It's not even to get Mario calling brokers anymore because he's already calling brokers. It's to get Mike and Jimmy calls brokers. He's probably not calling them, but he knows how to call them. I'm not worried about Jimmy. If Jimmy decides to pick up the phone, he will. It's to get Mike calling. It's to get Bridget calling. It's to get Jeremiah calling. Omar, Mohan, Rosa, Mac, whoever else wants to call. That's what this call is for. You guys have to let us know if you're calling. Great. Bring those stories to us. Let us know how it went. If you're not calling, tell us why. Let's figure it out. Let's get you calling. And you don't need to call, right? If you come on this call, you'll learn about multifamily real estate. Something that you'll need to know. You'll connect with somebody you need on your team to do it. That's great. If you have no intention of calling brokers, that's perfectly fine. But if you want to call brokers and you're not, please tell us why. Right? Let's get you over that hurdle. Let's make it happen. Just raise your hand in the background, whatever, put something in the chat. If you plan to call brokers, let us know. Raise your hand, put a one yes in the yes, brokers, whatever. Put something in the chat. Let us know that you plan to call brokers. If you don't, then either raise your hand, unmute yourself, talk to us, let us know why you're here, or put it in the chat. Tell us why you're here because we want to hear from you guys, right? This is for you guys. This is all about you. How can we make this better for you? What can we do to move you guys forward in your multifamily journey? That's what the multifamily freedom chasers is all about. We have a recorded call to listen to this evening. I was going to try to get a little interaction going before we do that. Hopefully you'll find that helpful. It was a very good call for me. I'm looking forward to following up with him. Actually, I probably will wait till Wednesday to reach back out to him, but he's got a deal that he's advertising. Quite frankly, I think the numbers are terrible. But what I like about the deal, and you'll hear on the call, is the owner is not really a multifamily person. So I think that potentially presents an opportunity. So we'll talk more about those details when we get to that call. But still no hands raised. Anything in the chat we need to respond to there? Yes. Okay, so we got a whole bunch of people who are planning on calling. Okay, awesome. So again, if you're planning on calling, but you're not calling, unmute yourself or put it in the chat. Tell us why, because we can't help you if we don't know why you're not calling. And that's my goal, is to get as many people calling as possible. So Mohan, you've been on here a couple times. I'm going to call you out. We haven't gotten together yet. We need to do that. I know you live in the next town over, or work in the next town over.
Right. We should meet Peter. One thing what I'm getting pushback is the credibility. Like, how do you project credibility when talking to the broker as a newbie, right? I mean, newbie in sense in the multifamily side. I have experience in the single family. That's where I'm being shut down. Like when you call, either they don't return, or maybe I mean, I read your script, but I have to practice that, right? So that's one thing I feel I'm lagging. So how do you overcome that to show the credibility when we talk to the brokers? Because at the end of the day, the broker don't want to waste the time, because they were looking for buyers who can close the deal, right? That's their goal. So that's one challenge I'm facing. If you can help, it'll be great.
Awesome.
I mean, definitely we can meet in person as well. We live nearby.
Absolutely. No, definitely. We will do that. No question about it. But that's an awesome question, right? And I think that's what keeps a lot of people from making the calls, right? So, I mean, we could talk for an hour about this topic alone, right? Number one is confidence. You've got to get the confidence, right? Now, how do you get the confidence? Well, you practice and you make a bunch of mistakes, right? You can study the script, you can practice the script. That's all good. But until you actually make the calls, Ed, you got something?
Yeah, I want to piggyback off of something that you had quickly jumped in on. Worry about that when they ask it to you. It's the simplest way I can put it. Like, that being a limiting belief in terms of like why you shouldn't even start calling. Worry about that if they ask you. Don't think about it before. Who cares? I had a listing appointment for residential, which I've been in for a very long time. And someone else told me, oh, I'm going to go on it because with someone who has been in the game longer. And because of that experience on paper, they didn't tell me about it. And then I'm not getting the listing. Guess what happened? They texted me, who has a quarter the experience on paper. I went and I'm locking it up. Experience means nothing. It's like someone can go to school for 10 years. It doesn't mean they know something more than someone who's been going to school to 5. The person who's been going to school 5 is just smarter. Experience, time is nothing. I don't care about any of that. That's ridiculous. You just have to know what you're talking about. You know, like there's people who've been in real estate for 30 years. They won't know what some people that we meet on these calls have learned in 5. You know, so I want to throw that out the window. If they do ask that and pick at it, and that's like a deal breaker for them, get someone else on the call that you feel comfortable with. Be like, hey, let me introduce you to one of the guys on my team. They've been in this game a lot longer. I work with them. And then you go from there. And the next time you call, they probably won't remember who you are anyway. Brokers forget very quickly.
Exactly.
I've called the same broker 4 different times over a span of like 6 months, and they never remembered me.
That's a great
partially my fault, but I could screw up 4 times, and on the 5th one, they'll send me the right deal. So they're human beings. They don't know any more than you do. They just know that market. You know, like they don't understand what we're doing. They don't understand all the full scope of the multifamily game that we're trying to accomplish. At the end of the day, brokers aren't exactly geniuses. Trust me. I live in LA. We have thousands of realtors. They're all idiots. So if there's any LA realtors here, I'm sorry, but I am one too. So I'm not sorry.
Except for Ed. Ed's the only idiot, only one who's not an idiot. So
It's the reality. Brokers are humans too. Like it's not
Yeah.
NBA players where they're born with a physical gift that none of us are. Like they're just human beings with a that took an easy test, mind you. The broker's exam is a joke.
you know, Ed, I love that point because Mohan, that is all that is a limiting belief. There's nothing more than that, right? You just need to get the confidence. The lack of credibility is in your mind, not in the broker's mind. Once you get the confidence and you know some basic things to say, and really, I don't say much. I ask questions, and we'll maybe maybe that's in my mind. And when we listen to my call, you guys will tell me, yeah, you said way too much. You should have just asked questions and shut up. Your goal is to ask questions and get them talking. So when you get comfortable with the questions you need to ask, it's really simple. And then it's just a matter of confidence and repetition. And the more calls you make, the more confidence you will get, and credibility will become a non-issue. I feel like I couldn't even have any more credibility than I already do, and I've never closed the deal, right? I know what to say. I know what questions to ask. There's nothing they can say that will, quote, stump me. And most of that is because I have the team behind me. I have people that have closed 40-unit apartment buildings. I have people that have closed 150-unit apartment buildings. And I'm always prepared to say, you know what? I don't know the answer to that question, but let me get with my team and find out, right? You're part of a team. Get to know people in this group, pick up the phone and call people. In fact, I see Elise on the bottom of my screen there. Elise is an experienced investor. She keeps coming back. She already owns real estate. If you don't know Elise, reach out to her. You need to know her. She can teach you something. That's what this is all about too. It's networking, and this is where the teams are built, right? It's in these rooms. So anyway, Mohan, we can get you over that hurdle. Thank you so much for asking the question. You and I definitely need to get on a call. If you're available at 11 on Wednesday, if not, let's get something scheduled this week for you and I to get together and make some calls, okay? And whether that's in person or on a Zoom, it doesn't matter, but let's plan to do that. Rosa, you got your hand up. I love it. What's going on?
Hi, thank you for this space, guys.
What happened to your little investor?
Oh, she forgot she went to play.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, we'll let her go this time.
So what has stopped me from calling brokers, it's market research, because I would love to invest in my backyard. I have 3 potential investors that are looking to invest, and they'll prefer to be in the state that we are. Like I assume the majority of the investors. A lot of sponsors, they said no blue state, no coal state.
Right.
So I have to look boots on the ground in another state, and that's what's taking me long. I'm like, okay, where do I call brokers? I have to call them in the market that I'm interested in. But with that, I'll need a little bit of help. Okay, what's like the decision that I need to make? Do I just find a market and say, this is what I like, and then find for boots on the ground or a team in that market? Or do I find a team and then I follow the markets that they want to invest? Or what's the next move?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. So number one, you got boots on the ground right here in a red state. I live in Georgia.
Okay.
I know you got Jerry and Sherry Miles. They live in a red state. You can talk to them. Mario lives in a red state. Forget Ed. Ed lives in California. He lives in La La Land.
Yeah, don't talk to me about California.
Ed's crazy enough to buy in California. There's no way I would take my private lenders and put their money in California. Not a chance. Maybe if Ed was operating it, but that's a whole other conversation. So you've got people that are in red states. If you have investors in your pocket that are in Massachusetts and they only want to invest in Massachusetts, I have somebody to connect you with. I have an investor who buys in Massachusetts. Personally, I grew up 10 minutes from Massachusetts. My mother still lives there. I'll be there in 2 weeks. I visit there once or twice a year. I love that part of the country. I probably will buy an apartment building in Massachusetts. We'll see. Maybe things will change politically over time, but I have no interest in doing that today. But if you have investors who want to, then obviously people are buying in Massachusetts and people are buying in Connecticut. Let's find the people who know the ins and outs of doing that, right, without getting killed. I'm not capable of buying in California because I don't know enough. I don't know how to get around the nonsense of the bureaucracy and the inability to kick somebody out if they decide not to pay you. I can't afford that, right? I'm not George Soros. It just makes no sense to me. But anyway, so connect with people that are in red states. Let me get you connected to somebody I know is investing in Massachusetts. There's definitely ways to do it. But that said, that shouldn't keep you from practicing, right? Call brokers in California. That's a great way to practice. You can't mess it up because you're not going to buy in California anyway. Now, I say that sort of tongue in cheek, sort of not, right? Make a couple of phone calls to practice in a market you know you're never going to buy in. There's nothing wrong with that. Don't do a whole lot of it, right? You don't want to waste their time. You don't want to make a whole bunch of phone calls that are going to lead to nothing. But there's nothing wrong with making a couple of phone calls and doing a little practice. So does that help?
Yes,
Rosa?
a lot. Yes, it does. Thank you.
And I'd love for you. Let's schedule a call. Let's get on a call and let's call some brokers in Massachusetts. Heck, if we find something just over, in New Bedford, in Worcester, in Franklin, who knows?
Worcester is growing, by the way, Peter.
Maybe we'll buy it. What's that, Mohan?
Worcester is, by the way, like it's growing market.
Yeah. You know what?
Yeah.
One of my best college buddy belongs to Worcester Country Club. If we find a killer deal in Worcester, I guarantee you I can find a sponsor. Guaranteed.
Oh,
so
perfect.
let's make. I might even have some investors. I have family members who might be totally fine with investing in that market. If it's the right deal, right? Even in California, heck, if we're buying it for 50 cents on a dollar, I'll invest in that. There's always deals. There's always deals at every location. There's deals in every market, even though this is a very difficult time to buy, right? Ask Jerry, ask our debt guy. It's not easy to get a deal done right now, but there are deals. There are always deals, right? There's always a seller who's in trouble. There's always a scenario where it makes sense. So we just got to keep looking. Right now, if you do find a good deal, getting it sold should be easy. It's when the market's red hot and you can sell anything. That's the time to keep digging, keep looking, right? When it gets really hard to sell, that's when it's easy to buy. It's never easy on both sides, ever. I've never seen a market where it's super easy to find a deal and it's super easy to unload it.
Yes.
It doesn't happen. So this business is simple, but it ain't easy. We just got to keep taking action and keep digging. So
Perfect. Thank you so much.
you bet. I'm going to put my, I'm sure you guys have it, but I'm going to put it, my email address. Again, if you don't have the script and you want the script, send an email to this address. If you want to schedule a meeting to get on the phone and call some brokers, let's do it. I'm happy to do that during the week. I'd love to do that in between these meetings so we can record some more calls. What I really want is to get you guys recorded, not me recorded. I want to get you guys recorded. I want to have have recordings that we can listen to on this call of you guys making the calls. I think that's what's going to have the most impact for the community. So, Mark, that's not Mark, that's Type, I think.
Oh, I'm on my husband Mark's video. I'm Nancy. It took me a while to realize I was actually on his account. But hi.
It's good to see you. Is Mark with us tonight too?
He's downstairs with our son. He's watching
Taking
him.
care of babies. Yeah, I
Yeah.
understand.
Yeah,
Oh, good.
yeah. But I was gonna raise my hand for something. I actually
Awesome.
reached out. I actually reached out to a broker last week. It was my first call.
Okay.
Yeah. It was nerve-wracking, but it actually wasn't that bad. Yeah.
They didn't bite, did they?
No, so yeah, they didn't bite. So what happened was, I know they say not to call in a market you're interested in, but I did that anyway because I thought I was looking at a property that was,
Okay.
you know, of interest. So I was asking them about it, but then I realized, okay, maybe it's not a good deal. But so I had on the call, I had asked the broker to send me a T12, and he hasn't sent me anything today. It's still a holiday though. But so I was wondering, how do I talk to him again? Because now I'm not interested in the property. But on the call, he says that, because I was asking him why was the owner selling. He says that the owner has other properties that he's more interested in. So I want to nudge him about, possibly those properties rather than the one I asked about.
Right. No, that's absolutely. So one thing I do on the call, right, is to say whether I think I'm interested in the deal we're talking about or not. Like, okay, do you have any other off-market properties that you're looking at right now? And in the call, we'll listen in minutes. You'll hear at the end, this guy, in fact, he does. Now, it's very early in the process. He doesn't know if they're going to sell or not. But the point is, I've planted a seed, right? And I think that's one of the things that will kind of separate you from the other calls they might be getting. If you're asking for other business, they might remember you. And then the key is going to be to follow up. If they tell you they have an off-market property that might come available, stay in touch with them. Call them every week. Call them every 2 weeks. But yeah, absolutely, call them back. And one great thing is call them back and say, okay, well, we were talking about property XYZ. That's not going to work for me, and here's why. Right? We did our underwriting. They're asking $5 million. The best we can offer is 4.2, and here's why. Here's the NOI. Here are the numbers. This, 4.2 would be a 6 cap, or whatever it is, whatever the number is, and that's even higher than we would want to do in this market, whatever. But that's the best we could do, and they'll really appreciate that. Number one. Number two, you'll show. That's how you gain credibility, right? You'll sound like you know what you're talking about. And if you don't know how to do that, that's okay. Right? Come back to these meetings, come back to the Zoom, reach out to somebody on this Zoom. Ed Shamirian's our chief underwriter. Right? If you need to do a quick napkin underwrite, give him a call. He'll help you through that. There's plenty of other people on the call. That's another good thing. Everybody should type in the chat their superpower. And when you come to these meetings, save the chat. You can go back and find phone numbers. You can reach out to people outside of these meetings. Find out who are the underwriters on this. Who are the deal finders? Who are the capital raisers? Who are the operators? You need all of those different people on your team. You don't have to know any of that stuff. You don't have to know how to do any of that stuff. You need to know how to connect with people that know how to do all those things. And the people that I've seen that have scaled this the fastest haven't really learned all of that themselves, but they've learned how to connect with the people that are getting it done. So hopefully that helps, but reach out to me. I'm happy to talk to you more about that offline. Happy to coach you a little bit more through that, but I would definitely check out to that person. talk to them about the deal you talked about, let them know why it doesn't work for you, and ask what other deals were they working on. One thing I ask all the time too is because some of these, like you'll find a listing, there'll be a broker attached to that listing, and it turns out that broker's not really an apartment specialist, right? The guy, in fact, the one we're going to listen to in this call, they really do more retail stuff, but they had a client who built this complex and wants to sell it as an apartment building. So he's not an apartment specialist. So I like to know that, right? And I want to stay connected to those people. Obviously, I'm looking for apartment specialists, but I'm also looking for people who aren't specialists in that area, because they don't have the specialists have a whole list of buyers. The people who are not specializing in apartments, they don't have a list of buyers for apartment buildings. So I want to be that. I want to be an apartment buyer that they know. Right? And that's why I reach out to residential agents as well as commercial agents, because the residential agents definitely don't have a list of apartment buyers. But when they have that client that comes to them and says, hey, I have this 20-unit apartment building, can you help me sell it? You're going to be the one they think about if you've planted that seed. So hopefully that helps. Edward, you raised your hand. Where'd you go? Come back to us. No. We'll get back to Edward a little bit later if he's not available now. All right. I thought I saw. Did I not see your hand raised? I thought I saw somebody else's hand raised.
It wasn't me. I'm driving. But I can raise my hand. To that point, real quick too, it's important to know that whoever you're talking to and whatever market you're in, you just want people to know you and know your buy box. At the end of the day, people knowing you is never a bad thing in this business unless they know you for the wrong reasons. But obviously, that's not the image we're gonna try to relay. But like, an agent knowing you is never a bad thing, because you never know who that agent will know.
Absolutely. What do they always say? If they don't know you, they can't flow you. It's not who you know, it's who knows you. You've got to be out there telling your story. People have to know what you're up to, what you're doing. Edward Tende, that's the person I saw with their hand raised. He's back again. Edward, are you able to talk to us now?
Yeah. I'm able to talk to you. Edward Tende, pretty much in the northern Kentucky area in Ohio. So
Nice.
Yeah. So I just have a quick question. I see I wanted to get the contact for the underwriter because I want to know like what they look at. I'm a rehabber, full-time rehabber. That's what I do. I'm a general contractor. So right now I work with the city of Cincinnati, try to build some housing that they do for the low-income people. So I just want to get it's like a feel for the underwriter. I know Ed is an underwriter, and then I want to know like what they look at, because sometimes, you try to get a loan, but pretty much like you are rejected by the underwriter. So I want to know like what they try to look at, and then what they dig into. So that was my my question.
Well, of
So
course,
I can give you quickly what I look for, but I think Jerry would be the better person to answer this question on the underwriting side of things with the lending. But it is important to know and have all the documents for how the property is performing today. Like what you can do to it, what its profile, what upside it has, that's all great and dandy. But at the end of the day, you're not qualifying what the property can be. You need to first qualify today, and then worry about what you can make it. Because a lender only cares, majority of the time, they mostly care about what the property is doing today and how it's performing. If the property is on fire and like the roof's collapsing and it's a disaster, good luck getting a loan. And that's something you have to consider. So it's really important that your T12, your rent roll, it's up to date, it makes sense, it's accurate. Your leases are match all those documents. That's the real thing that's going to separate a getting funded and not. And at the end of the day, that's why as much as you know your market and have all your pieces lined up, you should have lenders that you've talked to. Like I know Jerry makes himself very available. Like talk to Jerry before you start going into deals and deep diving, so that you know what to look for too. And I guess that's a good time for me to pass a mic to Jerry, so he can give you an idea of what they look for.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Edward, what I would suggest too is come back tomorrow night for the napkin underwriting. And then come back again Wednesday night for the deep dive underwriting.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, those are the two Zooms you need back to back at this point based on that question. So please come back and definitely, keep coming to these meetings. You'll find people who are underwriters, connect with the people that you like what they're saying, you like their style. Set up meetings outside of this meeting. That's how you're going to meet the people you need to know.
Oh, sure. So good. Yeah, because I do have a deal. I own a 4-apartment building in Cincinnati. And then right now I have like it's fully performing. I have like 2,700 each month of revenue. Is a 4-unit, but it's a low maintenance because everything has been updated. And then I was trying just to not get rid of it, but I think it's a good time for me to sell it and then invest my money into something else. So that's why.
Okay. Yeah, and that might make sense if you've got a good profit in it and if you have something else to buy, right? If not, it's all about cash flow. So you may decide to keep it if it's cash flowing, but definitely connect with other people in the group and they'll be able to answer your questions about underwriting. I think I'm having are you guys hearing me okay right now? I think
Yeah,
my
it's
connection.
good.
Yeah, we can hear you, but I want to hear Jerry. He just raised his hand.
Yeah, Jerry, go right ahead.
Yeah. I know me and Edward know each other. We're working on some deals together right now. So, but I
Awesome.
will say that Edward, if you're looking at really heavy like rehab deals, you're a rehabber, and I know that's the type of deals you're looking at. Lenders are getting a lot more tight on the heavy rehab deals. So if you're buying a place and you're looking to rehab it and turn and sell as a flip or whatever, right now it's tough if you get where your rehab is more than maybe the purchase price of the property. It's getting a little more difficult. So anything like that where the rehab's real heavy is getting tough to do. And look out in your email. I sent you all the paperwork packet today for the 4-family for a refi. So.
Oh, great. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh.
I love it. Deals getting done within the group. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and play this call for you guys so you guys can, hopefully you'll find it helpful. Hopefully it'll encourage you to pick up the phone and call. And we can talk about it and get your thoughts about it after we listen to it. Let's see here, share my screen. Share now. Now it's going to be a little hard probably to hear the broker. We'll see how this goes. All right. So what can you tell me about those units? What's going on with the seller on that deal?
Yeah, so pretty much the seller developed the whole stuff there, and sold the rest property. She wanted to do this bit as investment, rent them out, and then sell them. So that's what she's in the process of doing. It was just not what she normally does because she's a developer, so she didn't really feel like the effort into leasing them out completely and just she could take them out as is and see what she get for them and kind of move on. As far as the second condition goes, this is the only one that can be rented, the 17. And currently 6 out of the 17 are.
Okay, so 6 out of 17 are leased. What do you know what they're renting for?
Yeah, I believe it's 2,500 a piece.
2,500 each. Okay. So, let's see. Well, I like I like what you're telling me about the story so far, because I like to buy apartment buildings from people who aren't really in the apartment business.
Right.
But just at a quick glance, it looked like the asking price was going to be high in terms, just from the little bit of numbers I could pull together. But let's talk about that. Is there, how long has it been on the market?
It's been on the market probably about a month and a half. Got some offers all over as far as they're all below asking price, but kind of all over the board. But what she's kind of looking to do at this point is get what she had to pay to develop them.
Okay. All right.
Which isn't too far off from where the asking price is, but there is a whisper there.
All right. So what is the whisper price on this deal?
What's it listed as? Can you remind me?
Yeah, it's so you got a lot of numbers in there. It's 5,366,586. So 5.36 million.
Yeah, I think it was around the 5 million mark, around 295 each.
295 each. Okay. And that's not a market I know particularly well in terms of townhomes. It sounds to me like that would probably be the price a retail buyer would pay. Is that accurate, or am I wrong about that?
Yeah. No, I think that's pretty close.
Okay. Yeah. So selling them to an investor who wants to rent them, that's going to be, I just don't see how it, the thing that caught my eye initially was I saw a 7.75 cap. And so I and the picture looked so clean. I thought, well, that's interesting. I'm sure it's a C asset, but let me call and get the details. And then when I look at it a little bit, I was like, this is brand new construction. If I can buy brand new construction to 7.75 cap, I'm interested. But
yeah.
I don't know where they came up. I don't know how they did their math on the 7.75 cap. It seems like they're including like 0 expenses.
And it was the formula based on the ball game. You shout if I remember correctly.
Well, okay, I get it. Fully leased, but my gosh, the expense ratio they use must be like, 15% expenses. And I haven't done, I didn't know what the rent was. I assumed about $2,000. At 2,500, that makes the deal look a little bit better. I still don't think I can get to a 7.75 cap, but I'll run some numbers and look at that. This gives me a little something to go on for sure. Let me ask you this: what do you like about this property?
Well, I think the thing I like, opposed to some other kind of multi-family situation where you buy a unit, you can't individually exit those at one point in time. You have to sell the whole thing, and post this you can parcel it out and sell units as you bid, or sell the whole thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's not my goal, but it's a good point to have that as an option. That's a good thought. What don't you like about this deal?
That it hasn't sold, I guess. I think the price per unit is so high, and we're trying to deal with client expectations with that. So
Yeah.
If
Okay.
there's something you have in interest and come up with a number that you think is reasonable, that we can definitely present that and feedback and kind of see if we can work something out. I'm just trying to, at the end of the day, just trying to get a deal done.
Yeah, I get it. So that's good. It sounds like we're thinking along the same lines, so that's good. Obviously, there's no really nice loan on here that I can assume.
Good time.
Yeah. Is the seller open to any financing at all?
We haven't had that discussion for in particular.
Okay.
I would think probably not, but I would definitely run it by her.
All right. So, and that's where we go, right? We come up with a couple different offers. Obviously, my cash price, I don't know where I'm at because I haven't done the underwriting, but even on a napkin, but we'll try to put this thing on a napkin in the next couple of days and see where I can come up with cash. But maybe we'll come in with a couple of offers, cash and some, or obviously I can get much closer to her asking price with a bit of help. I don't think there's any way I can get to 5 million for a cash offer.
Right.
But
yeah, I think especially if you get a couple offers and can have a more extended discussion with her and conversation, kind of see where her values are with that money or with that closer to a certain number.
Right. Okay. We'll march towards that. We'll try to get an LOI together just to start a conversation. So it's not been on the market that long. Most of these units have never been occupied, right? This is brand new construction.
Yeah. They started in 2020 and kind of got bogged down with COVID stuff. Maybe
Sure.
Finished all their construction for that whole. So yeah, to answer your question, no one's put there.
And they're all complete, right? We're not like still finishing up the last 2%. It's like done, ready to go.
No, yeah, they're all done.
Okay. All right. Perfect. I don't think if there's any other questions I have for you right now. I think that's it. Where are you located physically?
We're in Sandy Springs.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I live in Roswell, so we're close. Either way, whether we do anything on this one or not, we need to get together and grab a sandwich before too long. Do you tend to have? Do you focus on apartments?
No. Developer doesn't everything. We've been working with her for a long time.
Okay.
We don't do a ton of multifamily stuff, just stuff that kind of comes off in a one-off basis.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, and that, you know what? I tell you what, I like to work with people. I have a mix, right? I work with some people that focus on apartment. I love to work with people that don't focus on apartment because you don't have as many apartment clients. So when you get a deal,
Right.
I want you to think of me. So what do you focus on?
We do a lot of retail, a lot of gas stations, kind of where the group started.
Okay.
That's the whole, a lot of triple net stuff.
Yep. All right. That's good. Well, I'll put you in that bucket so I know when I come across things. I'm not looking for that stuff, but like you got a client that has a multifamily, you're going to try to sell it, right? I get somebody looking for a gas station or something like that, I'll think of you. So that's good. I assume you don't then, based on that part of the conversation, you don't have any other apartment buildings off market.
We're working on one out of Burnett, a 10-unit thing, pretty good price per unit. I mean, that's kind of been the biggest thing in my limited experience here. That's really the biggest driver on price. It's like a price per below price per unit type thing. Yeah.
I
don't have a lot of information on that one yet, and it's kind of up in the air. But if it does kind of materialize, I'll be sure to let you know.
Yeah, it's funny. I've made a recent shift. Historically, I don't want to fool with those smaller ones, but what I'm finding is it'll probably be faster to get to 100 units by buying up 10 20-door units or 10 10-door units or 5 20-door units, just because there's a lot more people that own those that are really not in the business, right? And I don't really want a 10-unit building because that's a job and I don't need a job. I need an investment, but I think that's a really good part of the market right now is those smaller units. So I'm looking to buy up a bunch of them and fast. And the faster I can put them together, the more it makes sense, right? One 10-unit building is just going to be annoying. If I can get a 10-unit building and have another, 20, 30, 40 doors that I'm cobbling together at the same time, then it gets a lot more attractive. So anyway, I'll make a note of that. Let's stay in touch about that deal. If something starts to break through there, please give me a call. I'd love to hear about it. Smyrna's good location as far as I'm concerned, not too far from home. So
Uh-huh.
that sounds good. But hey, I appreciate you taking my call, and I look forward to digging into this one a little bit more.
Yeah, no problem. I'll get in touch and yeah, definitely take a look and let me know what you think.
Awesome, thanks. And obviously, this is cell phone. I can text you here.
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
All right. So, what do you think? Is that helpful to listen to that?
Absolutely, Peter. It was great.
100%.
Okay. All right. So talk me through that. What's helpful to you? What do you think? What was good? What could I have done better? Let me know your thoughts. Mohan, you're up.
Yeah. So one thing is what you have mentioned is you're still not sure about the exact numbers, right? The conversation which you took, and if I put myself on the other side, like I would like to connect with you after this conversation, because you set the expectation, the confidence level I mean, you never met the broker prior, right? This is the first time you're calling him, correct?
Never talked to the guy in my life. Had no idea who
Right.
he was.
Okay. So what I feel is like the way how you deliver the message, it keeps me you in my mind, and if something comes, immediately I want to reach out to you. You are in my radar. That's the impression you gave. If I'm on the other side, so that's what I get, the way how you speak. That's a message I'm getting.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. And obviously that's my goal, right?
Yeah.
I've said a lot in the past when I make these calls. Would I love to buy the building I'm calling about? Of course. I'd love it to be a killer deal. I'd love it to be 50% of value, and we get it under contract next week and we close it in 2 weeks. That would be great. Obviously, that's unlikely. But every call, I'm trying to establish a relationship. I'm trying to have a reason for another phone call. Because at the end of the day, we got to look at 100, maybe 200 of these have a chance at one deal. So the thought that I'm going to pick up the phone and make a phone call and buy a building, it just isn't going to happen. We're planting seeds. We're developing relationships, and that's what this is all about. And I know that call, I've got to figure out the technology here. I've got to figure out a way to record a call so that it's easier to hear. I hear me, but you can hardly hear what he's saying. There was a lot of information I got out of that call that I felt was really helpful, right? And one of the things, I don't know that you guys could pick up on it at all, is right off the bat when I said, why is the seller selling? That's my favorite question, because it often gets them talking, and it gets them to tell the story behind it. And it's not even in the apartment business. This woman is and she's leased up some of it, but it sounds like she's gotten tired of that process, and she just wants to get rid of it, and she's willing to sell it for what she has in it. That's what he said. Now, I don't think the asking price and that line up as reality, but that gives me a sense that there's some motivation here, right? This is, I don't know if you guys can still hear me. My connection's unstable.
Yeah, I can still, please.
Okay. So, you know what? I'm going to turn my video off just to save bandwidth for a minute. But so there's a potential for some motivation here. So I'm definitely going to be following up on this. This could be one of these deals where she's asking 5.3 million and she sells the whole thing for 4. Now, I'm not suggesting that's going to happen, but there's motivation. He's saying there seems to be some motivation, but it looks like she's asking full retail. So we'll have to dig into that a little bit more. When I part of the script that I stole from somebody else is asking the broker, what do you like about this deal? Right? What he said was he likes the fact that you can sell these as individual units. I'm looking to buy apartment buildings. I'm looking for cash flow. I'm not looking to sell them off. But that was a really good point that I hadn't thought of, right? What if I buy 17 and sell 3 or 4 of them to kind of pay down my debt on the rest? So maybe there's some combination there that would make sense. I don't really like the idea of owning a 17-unit building. It's not enough units for outside management, but they're brand new. There's not really a whole lot of chance for too many problems in the first few years. So if I'm going to buy a smaller community, something that's just built is really appealing. So that was really, really interesting to me. I asked him what he didn't like. And of course, he jokingly said he didn't like the fact that it wasn't sold, but then he said he didn't like that she's asking too much. So again, that is great information. That's exactly how I felt, right? But the broker knows if she wants to sell all 17 together, she's going to have to get realistic on the price. So he's already on my side from the price standpoint. I knew because it was development, she doesn't have a loan, an agent. She doesn't have agency debt on this thing. She's only 50% occupied. She couldn't possibly have agency debt. So I knew there was no assumable debt. But I asked the question anyway. It just gains credibility. I'm speaking the language. He knows that I know what I'm talking about. So I asked about seller financing. I don't know if you could hear his response. It wasn't overly positive, but he didn't shut it down, right? And basically what he said is, I haven't really talked to her about this. So I don't think we're going to get 90% seller financing, but what if we got 10% seller financing and we could come up with a deal where now, rather than raising 30% equity, we only have to raise 20% equity because she keeps 10% in the deal. So that could be really helpful. And then beyond that, from then, the rest of the conversation really didn't have anything to do with this deal, right? Now I'm just trying to connect with the guy. We're located. Where's your office? Oh, cool. Sandy Springs. That's one town over where I live. We're really close to each other. Let's connect. Do you focus on apartment buildings? No. Awesome. I love the fact that he doesn't focus on apartment buildings. I want to stay in touch with this guy. He's an active broker, and every time he gets an apartment building, I want him to think of me because he doesn't have a list of apartment buyers. I'm going to be his apartment buyer. I'm definitely going to stay in touch with this guy. Off-market deals. Totally expecting, I made a joke of it. Totally expecting there's no way he's going to have another off-market apartment building. He's not even in the apartment business. Boom. Yes, I do. I'm working on 10 units in Smyrna. Another great town, not too far away from here. It's not on the market yet. They're not ready to sell. But what he did say is in the preliminary conversations is that if it comes to market, it's going to be really good price per door. So that was all great stuff. And I know you couldn't probably hear about that. So that's why I made notes. I wanted to go over that with you. But let me stop talking. It's 9 o'clock. We're already at time. I'm perfectly happy to go a little bit overtime this week. What did you guys hear? I'd love to hear from somebody else. Mohan, I appreciate your feedback. Who else said, Rosie, you said this was helpful. How was that helpful for you?
For me, it was helpful to see how you move the conversation into not you forgot about the property and you started talking about the location and I live here very close, and I'm learning how to because I'm a server and it takes me I'm working on it to try to establish a conversation with people that I just met, and that was a good thing that I heard from you, just taking the communication into another level for me.
Awesome. Appreciate the feedback. And let's definitely schedule a call this week and let's get you on the phone with some brokers. Yeah. I'm telling you, you make that first phone call, it changes your attitude. Mario, had you made any calls before you came to the broker Zoom?
Not with any confidence. I mean, I would make them just to get the basic information, but it was just to acquire the information to underwrite. But what this has done is expanded my conversation, at least initially, to not only just ask for the required documents, but also just to dig into some of the questions that you asked. What do you like? What don't you like? In talking with Ed and working with Ed on a few opportunities, just asking basic questions like, what does the rent include? Because there are a number of properties where all utilities are included. Some are just base rent. Just something that makes me sound like I have done this before, so
Yep.
that I'm asking relevant questions over and beyond just, can I get access to the T12 and the rent roll?
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, we appreciate
I
you
just wanted to-
continuing to come back.
I wanted to comment, Peter, just to give you some feedback. I thought your style and delivery is different, and that's what I like about hearing. Like, we had a gentleman a couple of weeks ago. His approach was different. It's just understanding and getting a flavor for everybody's style. I think we end up getting to the same place, but how we do it is differently. Level of rapport. Some people are just about business. How do you handle those? Some going to give you the leeway to give conversation what your investment strategy is. Some aren't. And it's just being able to navigate based upon the personality type that answers the phone to still get your goal accomplished, but also to make sure that you have some level of confidence that's left with that broker. And I felt like you did that. But I've heard you a number of times. Your style is the same. Your approach is the same. And I think that's what you're kind of hinting at with us, is just the repetition. You know, the more we do it, the more we'll develop our own script, the more confidence we'll have in the calls, and less resistance to making those calls on a consistent basis that we'll have.
Yeah, to me, I think the confidence is the number one thing, right? I can promise you, I am way more confident today than when I made my first call, right? When I made my first call, I really hadn't even heard anybody make a call, and I just had a script. That's intimidating. Right? When you have a script, you don't even know why you're asking some of these questions, but it's after doing it a few times and making mistakes and not say, okay, I just asked him this. I don't even know why I asked him. Well, come back to this call and say, hey, I asked the broker XYZ. I don't even know why I asked him that. Can you help me through that? Right. And the more you do those repetitions and the more you come back and get feedback, the more confidence you'll gain. And it's all confidence. That is the bottom line. Mr. Hawkins, it's great to see you. You calling brokers?
Hey, Pete. Oh man, every day, man. Come on.
Are you?
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, I have good relationships with brokers. I mean, what I'll say is, you have to, really get yourself out there with these brokers. I mean, it's a small community, and you'll be surprised, how much, how communicate. I'm bouncing off of words, how they communicate across one another, to show your presence in the market. So I went to see a property on Wednesday in DC, and what you were talking about, a brand new property, interesting, in DC, one of the best parts of DC, 14 units, new construction, $1 million condos, which the developer built it for 11.2 million. He got acquired by a company. They acquired the building with them, and now they're trying to sell it for between 8 and 8.5 million. So you're getting it on the replacement cost. Looking to see how I can make that deal work. The only problem is it's vacant, so no historical performance on it. But we're analyzing the rents about 3,600 a unit. So I'm going to investigate a little bit more, and then hopefully get some some action behind it.
Yeah, that's one of those deals that it sounds great and there's some really good things about it, but it's going to be near impossible to make a cash flow, right?
Yeah.
It may be, be like the deal I'm looking at. The good thing is they can be sold individually. So maybe there's a way to, make a play there to keep half of them, sell the up at a profit, and then you'd be cash flowing the ones you keep. I don't know, but it's always exciting, especially when it's brand new and it's high dollar and you want to get in there. But yeah, proceed with caution. Don't get yourself upside down in a a non-cash flowing situation. There's too many cash flowing
Absolutely.
deals out there.
Absolutely, yeah. And the rule of thumb is you want to buy a property, you want to acquire property, acquire one that's already cash flowing. You want to come into it, you already knowing that you have returns and you can, either value add or ride the market, let the market naturally raise the rent so you can get a little bit more cash flow.
But sometimes those are harder to buy, right? Because it's
Oh,
already
yeah,
cash flowing
oh,
for the person. It's for the
Absolutely,
person who owns it. So he's gonna want maximum dollars, right? That's
absolutely.
again, it's either easy to sell or easy to buy. It's never both.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All right, guys, we are 7 minutes over. Happy again, if you have questions, if you need some support to have an effective week, to make some calls this week, don't hesitate to raise your hand, unmute yourself, ask what you need. Otherwise, we're gonna call it a wrap and get out of here for today. Any last questions? Bridget, you've been hiding behind that smiling picture all night. Jeremiah, you've been there with your camera on. I appreciate that, but you're not saying anything. All right, Rosa's got her hand up. We're going to go to Rosa, and then Jeremiah, if you got something to say, you can give us your parting words.
Hi guys,
What's up,
just one
Rosa?
last question, and I might go like, it's not about the conversation we're having, it's just that I have an investor that would like to convert his 401k into multifamily. Does any of you have a contact? Or you? Okay.
Of course.
All right,
We
so
always need
yeah, we
capital.
need to talk.
Everybody on this call is raising capital at all times. They may not know that yet, but we all have to be raising capital at all times.
Yeah.
When you find
Perfect.
a deal, if you're going to be calling brokers, you're trying to find deals. If you find a deal, you're going to need capital. It's unlikely you're going to have all the capital you need. We all need capital, absolutely. And we could, seriously, we can help this person. We have people that have solid deals. We can help this person get their money invested. No question about it.
Perfect.
Awesome. Thanks, Rosa.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here. Jeremiah, what you got, man?
Hey, how you doing, Peter?
Awesome.
I've actually just got done watching like 2 of your Zooms today. So basically, I'm wholesaling up here in Knoxville, so I'm not too far away from you.
Okay.
But I got tasked with one of my mentors. He does multifamily and stuff like that out here in Memphis and Knoxville and stuff like that. And he wants me to kind of take over acquisitions for him because he just doesn't really have enough time, and kind of moves me in the multifamily sphere. So I've just been incessantly trying to learn this topic. I've done mostly single family. So one question I would have from you, obviously you can see I got a baby face, I'm 22. What would you say about these brokers potentially not wanting to work with me because of my age?
That's a limiting belief. And look,
Absolutely.
I get it, right? The gray hairs help me. There's no question about it, right? But there, and other than sit back and wait and start your career in 10 years, which I think is a terrible idea.
Yeah.
There's not a darn thing you can do about the fact that you're 22. Enjoy it and make those calls.
Absolutely.
Right? And just do it with confidence and say, look, so look, tell me about the guy you're connecting. How old is he?
He's like 53, I believe.
Boom.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of experience, right?
Yes.
You're going to leverage his experience. You're on a team with, and there's probably other people on the team, right? He's got 20 years of experience. Somebody else has 20 years of experience. Another person on the team has 10 years of experience. 50 years of experience you're surrounded by. Obviously, I'm just making this up. But you leverage the experience of the team. And we're down to, we were up to 20 something at one point. You've got 11 people on your team right here in this call right now. You're part of a huge community. You've got, obviously you've got your core team there in Knoxville and Memphis. Leverage their experience.
Gotcha. Thank you. I appreciate it.
People here, get to know people here, leverage their experience, right? We have people that are making offers every single day. We're not closing deals every day, but you have people that own real estate. You have people that are actively actively in the process of buying real estate every single day. Just leverage the team. And
Gotcha.
forget that fact you're 22. Who cares? You know, when you look, and when you're on the call with, like, I was recording that call on Zoom, right? I was on my phone. He didn't see my face. He doesn't know how old I am. When you're talking on the phone, if you're talking with confidence and you're talking like you know the business, like you know what you're talking about, and that will come over time. And you already have experience wholesaling, so it's not like you're in real estate. You understand some basics of real estate. It'll take you no time at all to come across to these. What's going to happen is you're going to get together with them for lunch, and they're going to be like, "Holy cow! You're the guy I've been talking to. You're only 12." Don't worry about your age.
Yeah, that was kind of my main concern, kind of getting into it. But I wrote down a lot of the stuff that you were talking about, and I'm just going to kind of use it as like key talking points instead of necessarily a script. Yeah, I look forward to it. I'm doing some underwriting tomorrow, so I believe I'll be calling some brokers around here. So I'm doing that with my mentor. So I'm pretty excited about that. We're getting an email set up to get all the deals coming into, and hopefully I can just get on the phones. I'm not really afraid of cold calling anybody. You kind of just got to devalue it and proceed. That's just how I look at it. Especially when you're talking to people in real estate, it's a lot different than talking to an average homeowner. So
Exactly.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I appreciate
you may have a baby face, but you don't have a baby voice. You got a booming, deep voice. Nobody's gonna know you're 22 years old when you're on the phone.
Yeah.
The only way they'll know you're 22 is if you come across like a bumbling idiot, right? And you don't know what you're saying.
Yeah.
You don't have any confidence. And come to these meetings, study the script. I don't even like saying study the script because I don't use a script. I glance at it. I like bullet points, right? What are the bullet points I want to hit? I know the story.
Yeah.
I want to know about the debt. I want to know what the broker likes. I want to know what the broker doesn't like. I want to know where he lives so I can connect with him there. I want to know if he has any other deals. You know, and actually what I think I'll do is take this script and create bullet points so I can send out both, right? Because I don't want you to use a script. Sure as heck don't want you to read this. That's horrible. You know,
Yeah.
When you sound like you're reading something, they immediately don't know what you're talking about. You've never been in the business. Whether you're 22, 72, you're not going to come across with confidence and credibility. But if you have confidence, you can be credible at any age. Don't let your age get in the way here at all. Not going to be an issue for you. So,
Thank you. I appreciate it a lot.
How did you find this group?
My mentor actually told me about this group. So I started off just watching you guys on YouTube, and then I joined your guys' Facebook group to get all the Zoom information and stuff like that, because I wanted to hop on here and be interactive and ask my questions. I have a few things written down, like the offering memorandum and the call for offer date, T12 rent roll, seller financing, assumable debt, off market, buy box, follow-ups, like stuff like that. So
You already have enough bullet points to have an intelligent conversation with somebody, and they're going to think you know what you're talking about. Just because
I actually walked my first 34 unit before I even knew what a T12 was. So
that's awesome.
I kind of the kids' approach to swimming and just jump in the water. So that's kind of how I do everything. But I appreciate you speaking. Thank you.
That's the best way to do multifamily, man. Just dive in.
Yeah.
Just don't buy anything if you definitely don't know what you're doing.
No, I'm just working acquisition
you got the right
now, but I'm super excited. I'm up in Knoxville right now, and I've wholesaled. Like, I got out of the military when I was 20, and I started wholesaling ever since then. So my mentor, now partner, he's been tracking what I've been doing for the past 6 months to a year. So he kind of asked me if I wanted to go into multifamily, and I was like, he told me about like advanced depreciation and all that kind of stuff, and I just got hooked. So I look forward to it, though. I'm really excited.
Is your mentor somebody we might know?
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
Is your mentor somebody we might know? And you don't have to share.
I'm not sure. I don't want to particularly name drop him, but just because I'm just not sure if he would, like, I just don't know.
No, well, whoever he is, tell him we appreciate you sending you over here. So
yeah, yeah, of
don't keep
course.
us a secret. Tell everybody
No.
about us. And I will say this: if you guys were not on last night's call, and I know we put out so much content, you couldn't possibly listen to all the calls. You need to listen to last night's call if you weren't on. Seriously, do yourself a favor and listen to that call. Who was on that call? Anybody here on that call last night? You were, Jeremiah?
Yes, I was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you
we're there.
disagree with me?
No, it was a really good call, very informational. I asked a few questions. I'm supposed to actually do a call with her, I believe.
Awesome.
So I went on her website and tried to schedule that. Haven't heard anything yet, but looking forward to it.
Yeah,
So
she is the real deal. She is awesome. I'm so excited that she gave us some of her time, and I know she's going to come back. So that's fantastic. But anyway, what I love to do before we get out of here, everybody on here can turn their cameras on, and we're going to put our phones up, and we're going to take a quick picture. And I need to get everybody posting this on Instagram, and let's get the word out. Phones up. Guys, where are your phones? Well, Mario's got a real phone in his ear. Awesome. All right, guys, really appreciate you being here. Come join us on the Napkin Underwrite tomorrow night. Come join us for a deep dive on Wednesday, and we will see you again next week. Appreciate you being here. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you, Peter. Thank
You
you.
bet. You bet.